pluses for me that made me interested. One, my office is 5 minutes, if that, from here. I live 12 minutes from here. So this is very convenient for me, right? Mm-hmm. Second thing was, I wasn't gonna pay full retail. So I did, and I made him a discounted offer. But the other thing for me was, this was an IRA property, so I have no debt on it, okay? So if I would have had private money or a mortgage, I would have had outgoing cash flow every month besides taxes and insurance, right? So I don't have that. So what does that do to me? The way I think is, if I don't have debt, that makes it a lot better cash flow for me, paying a little bit more, right? So I did make an offer that was 30,000, I think it was 30,000 below asking price. They put it off for about 3 weeks, said no, they're gonna hold out. And there was another house that come on the market, basic same house, only about 10 years newer, at the same price. And I went back to the agent and I said, have you gone back to that agent and said, they realize, because we've been telling them it's overpriced, do they realize that there's a 10-year newer home, just as nice, maybe even nicer, because it had better windows than this house. And they thought about the price they're asking for this, and next thing I know, they accepted my offer. So, and I kind of did the same thing with the one in Fort Worth. It's a little bit smaller, it's 1,100 square foot, it's a 3.1, but it was total rehab, stripped to the studs 5 years ago. We won't talk about quality of that rehab, right, Sarah? We're getting in and seeing some things, you know, doors aren't square, you know, some silly stuff that we're gonna try and fix. I can't stand doors that aren't square. I don't know about you, so we'll probably have to pull all the door casings off and cut the nails and square them up and reshim them up the way they need to be.
Well, eventually, if you don't fix it, it's going to damage the door, and then it's going to damage the jamb, and then you're going to have a much bigger repair.
Right.
You know, so you could heat all that off by aligning the door correctly, you know, and making those adjustments.
And thinking about my renters coming in, if they're fussy, and they walk in and they see doors, you know, that are off square, because I mean, it's so obvious, especially in this house, every door in the house. The laundry room doors don't close.
Where they rub on the carpet real bad, where you're dragging the door over
All 3 bedroom doors drag on the carpet. And then they probably wondered why the door hinge screws are coming loose and stuff on the hinges. Because they're trying to jerk on the door to get it over the carpet instead of taking the door off and cutting them. We've got them all pulled off. We're gonna cut those too after we put the carpet in. So, you know, those things to me make a big difference. And I, honestly, I have no problem with renting houses. John can tell you, the houses that I have, they go quick. We have good paying tenants and a good price for those properties.
And on both of those tenants, they both renewed. They're in their 2nd year, and I don't see them leaving. I bet they'll stay there until they can't afford it.
I have a mobile home. This just blows me away. I wish you could find one of these. I have a mobile home, North Fort Worth. I get $17 or $18.95 a month for rent. Now, we did a nice job on that house, okay? But it's a mobile home, you know? So the downside of that is I throw away $600 and some dollars for stupid lot rent, you know? But anyhow, so questions, comments? Like it, don't like it?
What was the purchase price?
220.
Nice.
I don't remember, something, about 220.
How much did it end up costing you total?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not done yet.
I haven't, I'm not a big money watcher, you know, I don't watch every penny we spend. I can tell you that we didn't expect to have to pay $8 grand for windows.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't in But again, it's, you know, that's gonna increase the value. It's gonna, make the home more comfortable. Has anybody ever put new windows in a house before?
No, don't need to.
Man, what a difference does it make in the house as far as quietness goes. I mean, you know, this house is pretty quiet because there's no windows on the front, except in the bedroom. But, and you'll notice a big difference in the bedrooms once those windows go in. It just really quiets things down. But from a utility perspective, who likes utility bills today? Gas and electric, right?
Right.
We get the windows in here and it's gonna cut the utility bills considerably.
You know, that really would have been to the discretion of the investor. You know, these windows, you know, there's a lot of folks that would have rode with these windows and that would have been just fine too. And you know, you could have just taken that cost and stuck it to the side whenever the AC goes out. But the benefit, and I've got another rental where those owners are changing out all of those windows too, and they want to really increase the rent. And I told them, I'm like, look, the windows will, you can increase the rent a little bit on the windows, but in the long run, the windows are really paid for themselves when you sell the house, because that's going to be factored in on the buyer whenever they look at that home, you know. And yeah, you'll pay those windows off through the duration of the rental, but you'll really see that dividend come when you do sell that rental, because those windows are going to stay.
Well, and it could also increase your profits too by just not having as many turnovers of the property. If you got long-term tenants that like the house, and
You can leverage that down the road as a renewal. You can say, hey, you know, we'll raise around $100 a month with new windows, because they already know what they got with the house and the integrity of the home and how it functions. They know they've got a good house. So, you know, and then when you factor in the utility bills, I mean, as you all know, double pane windows are certainly going to retain your utilities much better than your single pane.
right.
You know, so there is that as well. They're going to make that money back, those tenants, just in the savings there.
This house had to have been very hot and very cold from all the things that we found. You know how your plumbing comes through the wall under the sinks? I mean, big holes around the pipes, no foam insulation around them, you know. I mean, that in itself is gonna make these bathrooms cold, and probably that kitchen cold. And that big hole around the exhaust vent over the stove, you know, I mean, had that big of a gap all the way around that vent pipe. You know, so all that stuff is just sucking the heat and the cold right out of the house.
Were the original windows single pane?
These
are
are
the
double,
original?
except for the two in the bay, they're single with storms on them. So, yes, I could have left these windows, but the windows would have been a maintenance problem long term, the seals in them and stuff. So,
Well, the AC
you know,
won't have to work as hard, in truth, because it's going to hit its temperature, its set temperature much faster, therefore not having to overwork the system.
And with it being an older system, it's gonna make it a lot more efficient. Oh, by the way, if you know, my case, I'm gonna be replacing windows, but if you're not, you need to make your windows spotless. You need to make your lights spotless, you know? I see houses all the time, you know, with dirty windows, dirty lights, and it just takes away from the big picture of things. So,
Sounds like you'd like to have the houses zone inspection ready.
zone inspection?
Yeah, for the Navy or Marines.
Oh,
Once a week they go do the ship and they get way high up and see if there's any dust up there.
oh, yeah. No, we do a pretty good job. That doesn't mean we didn't miss something, but we do a good job of cleaning them. You know, my wife's first comment was, we need to paint those cabinets. And I said, no, we don't. Why would I paint them? This is a rental property, right? The cabinets are in great shape. Why paint them? She cleaned them, so they're really clean. She put new poles on them because they were really nasty. But it doesn't make any sense to me to paint those when they look good.
The comps on this house through the MLS suggest a rent rate of $18.95 and with lease in 27 days. Given the condition of this home, I suggested to Tim that we listed at $19.50 and make a $50 reduction if we haven't gained the traction we were looking for in the first week. So we would drop from 1950 within 7 days to 1895, and I'd be almost willing to bet, given this condition and this yard. This yard is a really nice yard. If you hadn't looked around, this is not your run-of-the-mill rental when it comes to the yard by a long shot. So
The lawn needs time, you know, we've done the fertilizer, we're turning water back on now. You know, we need rain, but it's gonna take time, but at least it's cleaned up and hopefully the tenants will be lawn people and they'll take care of it. John's right, this is a big lawn for a tenant.
Well, it'd be good for a dog. Now, I was wondering though, when I think about risks and that, a lot of times you have dogs that like to run through the yard and they'll make paths where they like to run a lot on. How do y'all deal with that? Is that just normal wear and tear for y'all, or, you know, put down fresh?
you know, I haven't had a rental yet where I've really had that's been a problem. I've seen that. At the end of the day, the tenants are responsible for the yard. If a path gets worn, grass and water is going to grow. I mean, it's just, it's you know, is that a tenant deduction? It could be. You could lay new sod down that strip and charge them for the sod in the installation. Absolutely, come their move out. If that answered your question.
Mm-hmm.
One thing unique about this yard is it's all sand. I asked you not to go out in the yard, so you probably don't know that, but I live in Weatherford too. My yard is all clay and rock, it's hard. This is pure, I mean, you sink in it when you walk. I've never seen that here, I don't know why it is.
It's great for the foundation.
Yeah, there is no foundation problem, it sounds.
No, there won't be.
But it's just amazing, and that's, for animals and stuff, running around, that would probably, if there was a dog that did that kind of stuff running up and down the fence line, it's probably gonna tear them up. Now, the neighbors have dogs. I don't know if there's a problem with it or not, I haven't noticed it.
This is a great location too. This location is fantastic. I think that is another really, really big feather in the cap of this house.
Yeah, I mean, Weatherford College is 35 minutes away. Hospital's right over here. Post office is right across the street. Motor vehicles is right there. I mean, there's everything within minutes of this. And if you came in on Santa Fe goes straight out to the highway, so it's really easy to get to. So there was a lot of pluses that got my attention to want to buy this house.
And it's close to you. There's a lot of investors that love to drive by their assets, and I've got a client right now. They're going to liquidate 6 Class A rentals, and they're going to go do 1031 exchanges out in Tyler. That owner and his son are both brokers here in Texas, real estate brokers, and they're just that couple. They like to drive and be right by their houses and see what's going on. So,
What do you think? Good, bad?
Being next to a commercial area, does that affect your value?
I don't believe so, given how you've got that shed that really blocks that off. I mean, you got to really look for it, and the fact that that is a big backyard, it's so offset from the fence. This is not a busy street. I couldn't see a dog running up and down these fences because since I've been here, which has been 4 or 5 times I've been here now, I haven't seen a person in these backyards, much less a dog. So, I think that it's going to be pretty low activity back there given the surroundings.
Quiet neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Notice to the left and right of the shed, there's bushes there that have been whacked off. Hollies, they'll come back, but that's what you see out of the street now because they were just straggly and all over the place. But once they'll start growing again, that's going to add some privacy back there again. I'm not going to go on the other side of the fence, even though it's mine. I could go back there and clean it up and trim some of the mess back there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it just for privacy. There is some trash back there. I'm not going to go clean up.
Did you add these little fixtures like the staging for when people come in? Or
We did
all
the
that?
staging.
Okay.
We stage everything. I think for us, Matt, we stage everything. I just, it's nothing fancy. We don't use furniture, except on high-end homes like the big Weatherford house. We had furniture brought in for that. But the little homes like this, we just put just enough to break it up so it doesn't look completely vacant. You know, usually the bathrooms, the fireplace, and sometimes depending on what the front looks like, we may put something on the front porch.
Yeah, I think those little items are just welcoming, you know, they just kind of, you know, when you walk into something that's just blank and there's nothing on the walls, it kind of breaks that monotony some, I think.
That's in the tea kettle in particular, being bright red kind of puts in mind, okay, this is a home. That can very well be my tea kettle.
Yep.
And I even say, hey, I talked to John. John, I'll get this if you give me that tea kettle. Be like, sold.
So we've got the plumbing to fix and a couple pieces of base, quarter round to go down. I got the AC guys coming in tomorrow morning. That'll be the last of the inside work. And then I'm painting that front porch, the concrete. So they painted it before with red and green. And we've power washed it until the cows go home and we got off as much as is coming off. So I went and bought some bare concrete sealer and deck paint, non-skid. And I'm gonna start doing that this afternoon. Put the sealer on so it dries, and so that'll look nice and pretty out front. But that's it, the house is done. Clean out the rest of the stuff in the garage. Well, we put the other deadbolts on, but other than that.
Oh, that's
Anybody have any other things that you would do?
I didn't know about the single-sided deadbolt. Is that strictly for rental properties or is that for personal residences?
Residents.
Oh, okay. I just didn't have a clue about that.
Two deadbolts. One key, one side.
Anything you would do differently? Come on, Andy. Give up your ideas. Tell me your
Oh,
secrets.
how old's the water heater?
Huh?
How old's the water heater?
It's got some years on it.
So that's still have the labels for the Energy Star and all that, but I just wasn't sure.
I don't know for sure. I wasn't gonna change it though. It still works.
Yeah, the lifespan on a water heater is about 10 years. If you see them past that, you should consider changing it because it's a ticking time bomb.
Now, in the utility room, it has electric for the dryer. Is there anything there for somebody that might have a gas dryer? No, okay.
Gas dryers have really become obsolete. Yeah, if you have a gas connection, you should add an electrical plug outlet because we've evolved so much. Gas dryers are really uncommon.
If I'm doing a flip and I got good numbers, if it has gas, I'm gonna replace the gas.
So much more.
I've done it several times.
So you've gone from gas to all electric then, or?
Gas isn't cheap either. I mean, you look at renewals, you want to keep that tenant, and if they're expending a lot of money on, 3/4 of the house is gas, that can get expensive and will certainly affect that renewal.
What else? What do you not like? Well, you're not gonna hurt my feelings.
The thing I think would help a lot is if you have like a Nest or other internet capable thermostat. So if they're away from the house and they okay, I'm not gonna be there for another 2 hours because I'm having to work late, keep the temperatures where it's more economical, and then just as they get ready to leave work, they can punch into the thing and say, okay, time to start warming this up because I'll be there in 15 minutes.
When we do replace the central unit system, the whole system, we'll probably put a Nest in. I had a Nest when they did this thermostat, the first time they were supposed to be cleaning and servicing. I asked them to install it, but they said it didn't work. So,
It was like a
and it
5
could
wire
have been
versus 6
too
wire.
old. The system may be too old for that Nest thermostat. So,
Yeah, not every one is compatible because even the house that I live in, it can't have it's either hot or cold. It won't be one that you can set to a set temperature where it'll kick on if it's cold in the morning and AC in the afternoon because that unit won't allow it. It's too old. So it just depends on the unit as well.
okay, so just gonna wrap it up.
So Tim, why don't you put the vinyl floor throughout all the bedrooms? I mean, don't you need to replace the carpet if you got like a new tenants in the future?
I don't have to replace the carpet. Hopefully John's gonna give me such good tenants that they're not gonna destroy the
But
carpet.
if you put the vinyl floor in the bedroom, it would be like a good forever, right?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Vinyl plank does get damaged. So,
Normally how long?
this is not the glue down stuff, so you can't just pull a piece up and replace it. There is glue down plank that you
Yeah,
can do.
this is a higher grade
Yeah, this
than
is a
that.
snap.
This is actually a vinyl plank. It's a luxury vinyl plank is what this is considered.
So we've done the entire house before. I personally like carpet in bedrooms, a little quieter, a little warmer.
He would have also had to chase down and had to make sure he got the exact same match, considering he bought this house with the flooring already down. It's not like he came with extra floor. He'd have had to gone, found this exact floor, and then paid more to have it laid as opposed to carpet. Carpet's cheap. I mean, it really is. To have carpet laid, you know, pull up 3 small bedrooms of carpet and replace it's not much money.
I do have some spare plank, but not much.
Yeah.
And hopefully I never have to use it.
You would have actually spent more going in and doing that. You probably would have gotten more turns out of it, absolutely. But just to Tim's point, if somebody takes a big dresser and they slide that dresser, it will scratch the floor. They're not scratch resistant.
That's right.
The other thing that we do is we make sure we have door stops on all the doors.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have new ones. We tried something new. I don't know if you noticed these. These are silicone. They're really soft. And so we put those on. You notice this side doesn't have one. Well, one of the reviews on those things were they don't stick to the wall very good. So we have new ones. Those will get put in the next couple days.
That's a good point. You will see holes in the walls if you don't have door stops.
You need door
Especially if they have
stops.
kids.
You need door stops in every room that you have doors in. Highly recommend it, so. All right, so if you didn't get a pen for the group, or grab a pen out of that cup there, you notice that nice, pretty, sharp coffee cup? Don't steal it, I'm watching. We bought a bunch of these, my wife did, but we do not want to get into the sales business. Coffee cups. So we don't want to get into the sales business of selling coffee cups. So we're going to make everybody earn them. If you want one of those cups, you know, we're going to give them away for things like annual membership renewal, bringing us a member, bring us a new member that joins, bring us a new sponsor that joins, things like that. We're going to give out the coffee cups. So please keep that in mind. If you're not a paid member today, then think about joining, and that you'll get a coffee cup as part of that membership too. But refer others to us. We need to build the group, get the group growing again, and sponsors as well. If you know contractors that are worthy of working within the group, then they join, then you'll get a coffee cup. All righty? I mean, that's worth a fortune, that coffee cup with that name on it.
Absolutely.
Turn it around, look at the other side of it.
Oh yeah, mine is good.
Pretty cool, huh? All righty, well, that wraps it up. Thank you for coming. Hopefully it was beneficial to you. And the other thing is, if you like what you see and hear, then I'd ask you to go to the group page and write us a Google review. You know, that helps the next person thinking about joining the group and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it takes a second to do that, so.
Are you gonna post before and after photos on the page?
Well, I've already posted, it's on there now as is. I don't have a site that it's easy to do before and after pictures. I've been trying to do a PowerPoint presentation of before and after. It's just time consuming. I can't keep up with what I'm doing.
So do the coffee cups also go for a joint venture?
If we do a deal, you get one.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like I said, I don't want to sell them,
Yeah.
because then I gotta get into sales tax, license, and that kind of stuff, and tracking, and I just don't want to do it. So,
I had someone reach out to me, he's a mortgage broker. I told him I'll pass his information on to you. He said,
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Get out of here.
Good to see you.
I'll pass your information on.